पाकिस्तान में फॉर द फर्स्ट टाइम तलोर के शिकार के दौरान शेख नाहयान बिन मुबारक अल नाहयान का इंटरव्यू करने कराची से 700 किलोमीटर दूर सहरा में पीर कमाल पहुंचे। शेख नाहयान बिन मुबारक अल नाहयान हर साल दिसंबर में पाकिस्तान तलोर के शिकार के लिए हंटिंग कैंप लगाते हैं। सलमान नासर और शहबाज खान ने इस्तकबाल किया। हिज हाइनेस अल शेख नाहयान बिन मुबारक अल नाहयान इंतहाई गर्मजोशी से मिले। सर्दी में अलाव से आग तापने का मजा ही कुछ और है। फजर के फौरन बाद नाश्ते का एहतमाम भी किया गया। नाश्ते के लिए हुबस, रगाग, बिलाली, चुआब, माला, जैतून, शहद और दीगर अरबी पकवानों से दस्तरखान सजाया गया। खजूर हर खाने का हिस्सा होती है। हिज हाइनेस बहुत मेहमान नवाज हैं, अपने हाथों से मेहमानों को खाना खिलाते हैं। हर साल जब हिज हाइनेस इस इलाके में आते हैं तो तकरीबन 4 किलोमीटर का एक शहर आबाद होता है, जिसका सामान कई साल पहले से ख़रीदा गया है। यहाँ एक स्टोर पे रखा जाता है और उसको मुरम्मत करके दोबारा इरेक्ट कर दिया जाता है। तकरीबन 200 रिहायशी कमरे ऐसे हैं जो मेहमानों के लिए तैयार किए जाते हैं। इसके अलावा जो 1000 के करीब लेबर है और जो तावन करने वाला मुआवन अमला है, उसके लिए भी रिहाइश तैयार की जाती है। तो ये एक बहुत बड़ा शहर है जिसकी अपनी इलेक्ट्रिसिटी है, जिसकी अपना पानी है, जो टैंकरों पे लाद कर पानी लाया जाता है। पूरी एक सल्तनत है जो यहाँ बनाई जाती है। और जब ये चले जाते हैं तो ये सल्तनत बिल्कुल एक तरह से उखाड़ दी जाती है। इस वक्त चारों तरफ बारबेड वायर है, लेकिन बाद में इस सारे सामान को महफूज कर दिया जाएगा स्टोर रूम में। हर तरह का अमला मौजूद है। आपको सुई की ज़रूरत है तो सुई मिल जाएगी। आपने जहाज़ पर सुबह सफ़र करना है अबू धाबी तो जहाज़ भी अवेलेबल होगा। ये है यहाँ पर इंतज़ामात का दर्जा। शिकार पर जाने से पहले खुशबूदार ऊद लकड़ी के धुएं से जिस्म और रूह को ताज़ा किया जाता है। सहरा में जाकर शिकार को ढूंढने के लिए गाड़ियों के काफिले को 2 हिस्सों में तकसीम कर दिया जाता है। शिकार की तलाश के लिए सिंध के मकामी अफराद, जिनको धूरिया कहा जाता है, जो कि पैदल चलकर तलोर के पाँव के निशानात की निशानदेही करते हैं। हिज हाइनेस की गाड़ी में अबू धाबी के मुदब्बर सियासतदान और साबिक वजीर भी मौजूद थे। शिकार के मकाम पर पहुंचकर अकाबों को गाड़ियों से बाहर निकाल लिया गया। गाड़ियों की सिमत तलोर के मकाम से जीपीएस के जरिए पता लगाई जाती है। यूं ही तलोर नजर आता है, अकाबों को छोड़ दिया जाता है। हर अकाब के पाँव में इलेक्ट्रॉनिक छल्ला होता है जिससे उसकी परवाज की सिमत का पता चलता रहता है। अकाब बराह रास्त तलोर की गर्दन पर जाकर हमला आवर हुआ। अकाब की आंखों पर गिलाफ चढ़ा कर रखा जाता है ताकि वो वक्त से पहले शिकार पर न झपटे। शिकार किए गए तलोर को वहीं ज़बह कर लिया गया। शिकार किए गए तलोर के दोनों परों को महफूज कर लिया गया ताकि बाद में अकाबों की तरबियत के लिए इस्तेमाल हो सके। सहरा में ही लकड़ियां जलाकर तलोर और बाकी खाना पकाया गया। His Highness, you are the Minister for Tolerance in UAE. Neither in UK nor in modern countries like USA, there is no tolerance ministry. Why in UAE, Minister for Tolerance?
Yes, you're absolutely right. The first Ministry of Tolerance, because we believe in this time, and what we mean by tolerance is understanding, respect. Saying you can Google it, you can look in the YouTube of our founding father, Sheikh Zayed, which we celebrating his centennial year. And that's why we have these badges here.
Is your family head as well?
Yes, he's the founder of the country. And we have about 200 nationalities in our country, living in peace and quiet, and helping out the prosperity of our country, which we appreciate very much. And Ministry of Tolerance, we want to send a message to the rest of the world that there's no, with all the problems we're facing, whether environmental or economical or social, the poverty which is still exists, the lack of education, especially women, this, our leadership, which is Sheikh ibn Zayed Al Nahyan, the President, Sheikh Mohammed bin Rashid, the Vice President, Prime Minister of Dubai, and His Highness Sheikh Mohammed bin Zayed, the Crown Prince of Abu Dhabi, and the Deputy Supreme Commander of the Armed Forces. They decided that this year will be the year of tolerance, in which we'll be receiving the Pope for the first time in this region, to emphasize our commitment to tolerance, our commitment to living with others, our commitment to make it a better world for everybody.
His Highness, at a time when Pakistan is in economic crisis, we are obliged that you have been one of the biggest investors in Pakistan, as being owner of the Al-Falah Bank. Why have you chosen Pakistan as the country of your investment?
From my childhood, we used to go to Karachi in the summer and stay there for about a month. And then we used to come here for winter, also for hunting.
Is it profitable to invest in Pakistan?
What's most profitable is how our brothers and sisters, whether in the official capacity or otherwise, how my profit is. Everybody been very helpful.
Your companies are well reputed and I hope profitable as well.
I'm glad to hear that, and we came here to participate in the economic prosperity.
You are a minister of the UAE government, and on the other side you are a big businessman. How you manage both of these things? Are you a multitasking person?
The one thing for sure, never mix the two. Never mix the two. That is one thing. And I spend most of my time with my official work. Very little time with my... I have people who run my business, and as you know, they're board meetings.
Done by the professionals?
By the boards, whether it's Bang Falah or Jazz. This is by boards, and of course, State Bank of Pakistan, there's internal audit, external audit. So these are the safety valve for the institution. And very happy with my investment. We've been through good times, bad times, but I'm sure being in Pakistan with the help and the support of Pakistani people and the government and everybody.
His Highness, isn't it strange that you have friendly relations with Benazir Bhutto, Asif Zardari, Nawaz Sharif and Imran Khan, almost everybody in Pakistani politics, but you never meddle into Pakistani politics. How do you manage?
Well, very easy. I've never spoken about politics when I meet these people, met them because I have an interest here and have to deal with the government. This is the internal affair of Pakistan, belongs to the people of Pakistan. And the politics of Pakistan belongs to the people of Pakistan.
Is it true that you met Benazir Bhutto long ago during Oxford days?
Yes, we met in about, I think, 76, 77. At that time, she was doing her postgraduate studies, and I was undergraduate. She was doing very well there, and that is continued the relationship.
You must have met our Prime Minister Imran Khan as well.
Of course, I met Imran Khan. I didn't pass anybody. They're all friends, and I meet them all.
सहरा में ही नमाज ज़ोहर अदा की गई। सफेद बासमती और तलोर के गोश्त का सालन तैयार हो गया। हिज हाइनेस नाश्ता और डिनर नहीं करते, सिर्फ दोपहर का खाना खाते हैं। 5 से 6 लोग मिलकर एक ही बर्तन में हाथ से खाना खाते हैं। हर निवाले के साथ प्याज का सलाद भी शौक से खाया जाता है।
You have been president of Sheikh Zayed University, chancellor of many Abu Dhabi universities. Do you have passion for education?
I do have a passion because, as we've been taught by Sheikh Zayed, our founding father, that the most important resources for any nation is its people. And the most rewarding investment is investing in the education of your people. So no natural resources substitute for that. Nothing is, education is the wealth of any nation. And that is what we've been brought up to believe in and work for by Sheikh Zayed.
In many ways, you are a different man. In your land, mostly people have 2-3 wives, but you just chose one wife and continuing with it. Oh, what's the reason for that?
No, that's a long time ago. Now, very rare do you find somebody who has 2 wives.
You decided this much earlier.
Yes.
Why so?
I think that's simple. If your wife brings up children, brings up your children, and welcoming you, and you have your home is your nest, where nobody shares with except your family and your wife. And if that is a happy nest and a welcoming nest, and then there's no need for change. Some people need to change because maybe they don't have children or they don't get on well with their family. There's nothing wrong with that. That's the problem. But if everything is going well, I don't think there's a need to change.
In Pakistan, many people think that hunting Hubara bustard has some meanings. And the meaning is that the Hubara has some sexual power. That is why they are hunted. Is it true, sir?
I think that's absurd. This is absolutely absurd. And this is, people say many things. What is this? People don't come here to get, to go after Hubara. This is a sport. This is a proper sport, inherited from our great parents to now, it was all over the world. It's not something that we invented, but we're proud that we still practice this. We don't even eat it sometimes. I don't eat it.
You don't eat?
No, a little bit. And it's a migrating bird. It's not indigenous of this land. It's migrating. Today is here, tomorrow is somewhere else. We also contribute to the population of the Habara. Sayyid Sheikh Mohammed Zayed has centers in Pakistan, UAE, in Kazakhstan, Turkmenistan, in Morocco, and they release tens of thousands of Habara every year to maintain the population of Habara. And we, as you can see today, for instance, 5 hours of drive, we've caught one. It's not as easy as people think. And we don't disturb anything. We don't disturb the people. We live with them like our families.
You don't fire them?
No, we don't use a gun at all. As you can see, we only use the falcons. Everyone has his own falcon. They train the falcon. They have a pride in the falcon do well. They enjoy the chase, enjoy the adventure.
Your sons also come with you?
My sons and the people who come with me, they bring their sons as well.
But somehow the reservation and the acquisitions are that perhaps this hunting trip is so exertion. There are ladies, there is fun, music, but I don't see such things here.
We don't do these things. Secondly, if we go somewhere else, we don't come
to Pakistan.
No, not Pakistan. We don't come in the middle of the desert and Sindh area doing this. So we don't do. We never had this, and it doesn't even cross our minds. All these people, I wish they just came with us or asked people who they should come here and ask the people who've been with us for 40, 30 years. Ask them, what do we do? Ask anybody who's here. By the way, this is the first time I heard this. That's somebody said that we have music and have women.
No, these stories are going on since the decade of 70s.
Yeah.
Because nobody had access to really. They didn't know perhaps the truth. So that's why they thought. But it is a very hard sport, not an easy one.
It's not easy, and you drive 5 hours in the morning and drive about 3 hours in the afternoon, and you're lucky to get 3 or 4, maybe the good season. This year has not been a good season because it has not rained. So we averaging about 4 a day. 4 a day.
You have passion for this hunting. How many falcons you have?
I think maybe 30, 40.
Do you yourself train these falcons?
No, there are some trainers who train them, and everyone who has a falcon, they train their falcon. I'm just like you, Suhail. I just watch and enjoy the hunt. I don't take care of the falcons. Somebody else does.
But usually the bill of the whole hunting excursion is much higher. The way
not that high, not what you think. There's nothing. Our car's been here. My car, which we were in, has been here for 12 years. This is 12 years old.
The food, the city, the electricity.
The food goes to the people. Anybody who's
yes, sir.
there.
You have hired about 1,000 people.
And we hire them, and it's not that we need them, but we want to help the people.
1,000 people, yes.
Yeah, we want to help them. We want them to benefit. So we don't come here just to have fun. And it's not as much as you think. It's nothing. There's food which is very cheap, and you're not in a hotel. People who go to Europe, to the hotels and to restaurants, they pay much more than I do.
His Highness, you are a visionary and educated Muslim. In this world of confrontation, what do you see the future of Muslim Ummah?
Very easy. Yes. The Muslim, before we look at the Ummah, we have to correct things within our own countries. Before we move out to try
the whole Ummah.
You cannot correct others when you have faults. We all have our own faults. We have to correct our own countries. I'm not saying who, but we all need to correct our system, correct our...
How can Muslim Ummah change its system?
Well, you can change it very easy. Just seeking opportunity and security is very important for the development of any country, and being together. You need to unite the country under one constitution, rule of law. That's it. And then after all the Muslim Ummah managed to reach that, then with all due respect to everybody.
Do you see bright future of OIC making it more, powerful? OIC, Organization of Islamic Countries.
Yeah, okay, but then they don't. It's okay to have the OIU, but what it has achieved, I don't know. Maybe somebody will.
His Highness, as you belong to the ruling family of Abu Dhabi, individually, are you living in a united family? Are you living separately from your married sons? And
No, we live together. My family, and but those who got married and want to move out, they move out.
And what are your hobbies, sir, other than this sport?
Mainly is hunting.
You have a passion for football as well?
I follow Manchester City.
Because that is the twin city team.
It is it's UAE team, and we follow it, but that's the only team I follow.
वापस कैंप जाने के लिए रवाना हुए।
खैमों का ये शहर ऐसे ही नहीं बस जाता। 120 गाड़ियाँ, बहुत से जनरेटर और फिर इतने लोगों की रिहाइश और ट्रांसपोर्ट का इंतज़ाम, इसके लिए एक गैराज की ज़रूरत होती है। चुनांचे हर साल कराची से गाड़ियों पर काम करने वाले मोटर मैकेनिक यहाँ आ जाते हैं और 120 गाड़ियाँ जो यहाँ चलती हैं उनकी मुरम्मत और मेंटेनेंस, और हर रोज़ रात को उनको धोया जाता है, तैयार किया जाता है। सुबह जब लोग शिकार पे जाते हैं सारे मेहमान, तो हर एक की गाड़ी साफ़ सुथरी होती है। और यहाँ एक शख्स ऐसा भी है जिसने जापान से गाड़ियों की ट्रेनिंग ले रखी है और उसका नाम ही है पाकिस्तानी, लेकिन उसको जापानी कहकर बुलाते हैं। हर रोज़ 1000 लोगों के लिए खाना तैयार होता है, और जाहिर है उसके लिए फिर बकरे चाहिए, उसके लिए मीट चाहिए। ये बकरे हर रोज़ तकरीबन 250 बकरा ज़बह किया जाता है। और दिलचस्प बात यह है कि ये सारे लोकल लोगों से, मकामी लोगों से जो है ख़रीदे जाते हैं। तो इस इलाके का बहुत सारा रोज़गार जो है वो हिज़ हाइनेस के और दूसरे जो प्रिंसेस हैं उनके आने से भी जुड़ा हुआ है। शिकार के बाद इस खैमागाह में मौजूद लोगों की दूसरी बड़ी तफरीक खाना है, और खाना यहाँ वाफर है और आला से आला है। 4 तो किचन हैं। एक किचन में अरबी खाने तैयार होते हैं, दूसरे किचन में कॉन्टिनेंटल खाने तैयार होते हैं, तीसरे में अरबी खाने तैयार होते हैं, और चौथा किचन जनरल किचन है जिसमें हर तरह के खाने, रोटियां तैयार होती हैं। हर रोज़ 200 के करीब डिशेस बनाई जाती हैं जो कि सबको अवेलेबल होती हैं। रात को ख़ुद हिज़ हाइनेस एक बुफ़े लगाते हैं और ख़ुद मेज़बान होते हैं उस बुफ़े के। लेकिन कोई अगर अपने ख़ैमे में आराम करना चाहता है, वहाँ खाना मंगवाना चाहता है, तो उसे भी वही खाना मिलता है। बुनियादी तौर पर इस कैंप का मकसद जहाँ शिकार है, वहाँ सखावत, मेज़बानी, लोगों से मोहब्बत, उनके अंदर तकसीम का जो अमल है उसको भी जारी रखा जाता है। ये फ्रूट और सब्ज़ी की दुकान नहीं है, ये खैमा बस्ती का एक छोटा सा स्टोर हाउस है। हिज हाइनेस और उनके मेहमानों को जिस फ्रूट, जिस सब्ज़ी की ख्वाहिश हो वो यहाँ हर वक्त मौजूद होती है। उसे पकाया जाता है, उसे खिलाया जाता है और उसे स्टोर रखा जाता है, क्योंकि ये कराची से 700 किलोमीटर दूर है जो कैंप लगाया है। ज़ाहिर है फ़ौरी तौर पर वो चीज़ें नहीं आ सकती, उनकी सप्लाई पहले से तैयार रखी जाती है। ये है तो रेगिस्तान के अंदर एक कैंप, लेकिन ऐसे लगता है कि ये एक पूरी दुनिया है, पूरा शहर है, पूरी हुकूमत यहाँ चल रही है। ये भी एक स्टोर रूम है और यहाँ स्पेशल डेलिकेसीज़ जो हिज हाइनेस और उनके मेहमानों के लिए हर वक्त तैयार रखी जाती हैं। चॉकलेट्स, खजूरें, कोकोला, दूसरी बेवरेजेस, ताकि जिसको जिस चीज़ की ज़रूरत हो फ़ौरन फराहम की जाए। और सुबह जब गाड़ियों पे सब सफ़र के लिए रवाना होते हैं, शिकार के लिए रवाना होते हैं, तो कंप्यूटर के ज़रिए मेक श्योर किया जाता है कि हर गाड़ी के अंदर ड्रिंक्स मौजूद हों, हर गाड़ी के अंदर खाने की कोई ना कोई चीज़ मौजूद हो। औकाब, शाहीन, कुर्गस, इन सब के नाम तो सुने थे, लेकिन इनमें क्या मामूली फ़र्क हैं जिनकी वजह से शाहीन का मकाम और है, औकाब का मकाम और है और कुर्गस का तो बिल्कुल ही और मकाम है। तो ये शाहीन है जो कि पाकिस्तान से ही बिलोंग करता है, पाकिस्तान में इसको पकड़ा गया और यहाँ शिकार के बाद अब इसको छोड़ दिया जाएगा ताकि ब्रीडिंग होती रहे। ये दोनों ब्रीडेड हैं। जब फाल्कन लाए जाते हैं तो हर एक फाल्कन का एक पासपोर्ट होता है और हर फाल्कन को पाकिस्तान में लाने की फ़ीस अदा की जाती है जो तकरीबन $1000 है। लेकिन ये सबसे कीमती परिंदे हैं जिनकी तरफ तवज्जो दी जाती है, इनकी ट्रेनिंग दी जाती है सालों, और इनको पाकिस्तान में पहले लाया जाता है ताकि यहाँ की आबो हवा, यहाँ के परिंदों को जान सकें, और फिर ऐन उस वक्त जब इनको छोड़ते हैं तो ये झपट कर अपने शिकार को, हुबारा बस्टर्ड को पकड़ने की सलाहियत रखते हैं और पकड़ते भी ऐसे हैं अपने दोनों पंजों से कि वो भाग नहीं सकता, और उसको गर्दन से पकड़ते हैं जैसे कि उसको ज़िबा किया जाए। इसीलिए हुबारा बस्टर्ड जो है वो ज़िबा होता है, वो हलाल होता है, और ये शुरू जो है ये अकाब ख़ुद करते हैं। बाद में जब इनके वारिस वहाँ पहुँचते हैं तो फिर वो उसको ख़ुद ज़िबा करते हैं। जिस दिन शिकार करना हो उस दिन इन्हें भूखा रखा जाता है, उस दिन इन्हें खाना नहीं दिया जाता ताकि ये पूरी ताकत और तवानाई से अपने शिकार को पकड़ सके।
मिनी सिनेमा में अहबाब के हमरा फुटबॉल मैच देखा। 70 के करीब गैर मुल्की मेहमानों में अरब, शामी, लिबनानी और दीगर कई कौमियतों के लोग थे। कहवा, चाय, ज़ातर, जिंजर टी, जंजाबी सब दस्तयाब थी। मकामी सिंधी सरदार मोहम्मद बख्श खान महर हिज हाइनेस से मिलने आए। नए साल की नेक तमन्नाओं और ख्वाहिशात के साथ केक काटा गया। डिनर में मिशवाई, सालम बकरे, फोगा और दीगर अरबी डिशों से तवाज़ी की गई।
Pakistan has been through many crises. You are a real and sincere friend of Pakistan. You have invested in Pakistan, and all the time you give very nice advice whenever somebody meets you. I want to know about future of Pakistan. What should we do as Pakistanis that Pakistan is better and prosperous?
I have complete confidence in the future prosperity of Pakistan. It has very hard-working people.
Any particular suggestion?
I came here to seek suggestions and seek advice because I'm not the person to give advice to such a great nation, such great people who achieved so much.
I know you are into reading books. Does reading books makes you a better man?
I'm sure, and not only a better man, you see yourself, your own culture, your own religion from different perspective. It makes you more humble. Then we know that from reading that if you don't learn something every day, you are illiterate. Illiteracy in the 21st century is not the person who cannot read and write. The person who does not learn something every day.
What particular subjects you like to read?
I like politics. I studied politics. I like history. These are unlike real stories, actual stories. So,
any particular book which must have a great impact on you?
Yeah, quite a few. The Power Shift, Alvin Toffler, for instance, he wrote what we're witnessing now. He wrote it 30 years ago, 20 years ago. The Road Less Traveled, Clashes of Civilization, Lewis or
Louis Bernard
Lewis or Armstrong, the lady who wrote.
Yes.
There are many. I like reading these books. Sometimes, unfortunately, one gets bogged down with the daily work, has no time to read books, especially with there's so much information, so many studies, so many articles written on different issues that you're just about to catch up.
His Excellency, you have been educated at Oxford, and how you transform your own sons and daughters through education. What are they doing? How many are they?
The best thing is to allow them to chart their own way. You try to protect them. You try to advise them, to show them. But if they want to go to abroad, you allow them to go abroad.
One of your sons is UAE ambassador to Saudi Arabia.
Saudi Arabia, yes.
Where did he study?
He finished his studies in the UAE. He joined the military as well, and then was appointed by His Highness Sheikh Mohammed Zayed as ambassador to Saudi. The other is working in a company in Abu Dhabi, and the younger one is still in university. So these are three boys I have.
3 boys, all married?
2 married, and the young one, the one who's in the university, is still not married because he just went to the university. When he finished his high school, he went to the military for 1 year for the compulsory national service.
His Highness, you are well educated and a liberal man. You have great aesthetics as well. Do you like music or dance?
I like singing. I listen to it. I see it. I don't mind it. And I believe people should be allowed to do what they like. It's got nothing to do. Nobody should dictate to people what they should do and what should not do. God knows who's better and who's good, who's not good. And nobody has been given the authority or the mandate to say what God. We all read the Quran. We all read the saying of the Prophet, and we know our religion. And we know our religion. We know that people live different lives.
As a wise old man of the Muslim Ummah, how would you suggest to resolve the crisis in Syria, Lebanon, Iraq, and Yemen?
There will be a solution. But we have to understand these problems started a while ago, after the coups, what they call revolution, but after the coups in all these countries took place. And then how the government for all these years, and now this is the result of what happened decades ago. It's coming to an end, hopefully. We see there is a sign of peace in Syria. Libya, there is negotiations going on. Yemen is also. Everything will get good. If the Middle East left by itself, it will solve its problems. But when you have
So the solution is no foreign intervention.
other forces intervening in our region, then that's the problem. It divides us, it keeps us against each other, unfortunately. But hopefully we will overcome this and come out better.
Thank you, His Excellency, and thank you for this dress you presented to me.
It suits you. It suits
Thank
you
you
very
very
much. You
much.
should keep it, yes.
I'm honored.
It's a pleasure.
Thank you
Look forward to see you also next year here for a longer time.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you very much.